Hello everybody! So we all know well-known firms like airline companies or tech giants that are claiming to be carbon neutral or net zero by 2050. Okay, some will say that it's bold and others will say it's inspiring, but here is the uncomfortable truth about that.
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
In complex value chains such as energy, aviation, retail, it is very difficult to completely reduce these CO2 emissions down to zero. So how do they plan to get there, to the net zero? The answer is carbon credits.
Rick, what the hell is that?
So let's start with the basics. A carbon credit represents 1 ton of CO2 that is either avoided or removed from the atmosphere. So broadly speaking, there are 2 types of carbon credits. The nature-based ones that are around forestry, oceans, and so on. So basically it is empowering Mother Nature to do her job. Or we have the technology-based solutions that are quite sophisticated technologies that will capture the carbon directly out of a chimney or directly from the atmosphere. Here it's a bit more like the Silicon Valley's approach to fixing the sky. Carbon credits work in 2 different ways. Either they will help to avoid emissions. We stop the extra release of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Most of the time we will be around projects related to renewable energy, because by producing, for example, electricity with cleaner energy modes, well, we avoid the extra release of carbon dioxide from, for example, the burning of fossil fuel. And the other way is by capturing emissions. So here the idea is literally getting CO2 out of the atmosphere, removing directly from the atmosphere, either with nature-based solutions such as trees, or with technologies that are looking like big vacuum that will suck the air, filter it, and capture the carbon dioxide. So to make an analogy here, think about the last time that you cleaned your house.
I remember.
Avoided emissions would be more related to avoiding adding more mess in the house, trying to keep it tidy, whereas carbon capture is closer to getting out the vacuum cleaner and tidy up the room. The 2 ways are extremely helpful to keep a house tidy, but at some point you need to get the vacuum cleaner out. Some people say it is an essential tool, and others will say it is controversial. So since this is a topic that a lot of people like to comment, what would you prefer? Would you rely more on nature-based solutions or technology-based solutions? So just drop in the comment section either machines or forest, and I will know which one you would prefer. But here is an important point back to the claims of large companies. If they claim to be carbon neutral, they can use carbon credits from either the avoided ways or the removed way. But if they commit to be net zero, then it's another story. Net zero eventually requires to remove carbon permanently. There's no shortcut here. And allow me to make myself very clear, carbon credits are no substitute to an ambitious and engaged carbon reduction plan. And if there is anything that I would like you to remember from this video is the best ton of CO2 is the one that is not emitted. All right? But I mentioned at the beginning of this video that is a controversial topic, so here is why. The first issue is about the credibility of the carbon credit. There are different standards that are supposed to vet to make sure that those credits are qualitative, but we've seen for the past few years some scandals, and hopefully now the industry is tackling this issue to make carbon credits more robust. The second issue is about permanence. If you buy nature-based credits, for example, or technology-based credits that will put the CO2 in the ground, how can you be sure that in 100 years, in 1,000 years, well, this carbon will stay where it is today? It's not easy to be sure. And last but not least, there is a trade-off issue, because buying carbon credits require to invest money. But what if we would have kept this money to be invested into projects to reduce the emissions of CO2 of the company's activities, to work on the carbon reduction roadmap. This is a tricky balance to find. So here is the bottom line of this video. Carbon credits are useful, but it's not the silver bullet to be net zero. It is a complement, but not a replacement of ambitious carbon reduction plans. And every company must be mindful about how they use carbon credits, what type of quality of carbon credits they purchase, and how they communicate about it as well. Now, maybe some of you will be curious to know how we can create those credits and how we can sell them. Well, that's the topic of this next video. See you there.